Hello and welcome to part 4 of Maya's Meadow. This week we are going to be joining the 6 petals in each colorway to each other to form a flower. Once we've done that, we're going to fill in the little hole at the center. You will be using the same color as you used for the last round of each raindrop in each colorway, but to demonstrate this better, I'm going to use a contrasting color. Well, I'll be using the same color as for the center, just so you can see the stitches. Right, so to start, we're going to place the 2 raindrops on top of each other with the right sides facing each other. So you want the popcorns to be kissing. And we're going to start in the first treble after the chain 1 corner space. And we need to identify them carefully, because remember, your stitch anatomy changes if the back of your work is facing you. So the first treble will be that stitch. And if you are not sure, I always find if I have trouble identifying, I'll just turn my work so the right side is facing, stick my hook in there and then turn it around and double check that I've got the right stitch. So I'm starting with the slip knot already on my hook, and remember you'll be using the same color, but I'm using a contrasting color, into that first treble on the top petal and into that first treble on the back petal, and the loops will be to the right, to the left if you're left-handed. And we're going to make a single crochet. Now we're going to chain 1, skip the next stitch and make a single crochet in the next stitch 12 times. So chain 1, skip the next stitch on both layers, make a single crochet in the next stitch. That's number 1. Chain 1, skip the next on both layers, single crochet in the next. That's number 2. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm just going to make a little chain before I fasten off. Now before I fasten off, I'm going to check that I've done this correctly, because when we start working around the flower, we need to be sure that we've fallen in the right stitch there. So if we open it up, it'll make a little dotted line like that, which I absolutely love. Won't be visible on your flower because it'll be in the same color. And we are going to do a spot check. And we want to make sure that the last single crochet falls in the first stitch of an increase on the motif to your right or left if you're left-handed. So I'm just going to check. And there's an increase and it falls in the first stitch. And then you want to check that it falls in the second stitch of an increase on the motif to your left or the right if you are left-handed. So we're going to check that as well. There's the increase, first stitch, second stitch. So I know that that's correct. So I can go ahead and fasten off. And then we're going to do that for all 6 joins. I apologize for the many ends, but it's one of those sorry not sorries because it's so worth it. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I do the second one as well. Okay, so I'm taking one of the motifs, putting it on top of my work, doesn't matter which one. I'm going to start again with a single crochet in that first treble, after the chain 1 space on both motifs, remembering that the loops will be after the post on the top one and in front of the post on the bottom one. So single crochet, we're going to do chain 1, skip the next stitch on both layers, single crochet in the next stitch, chain 1, skip the next stitch, single crochet in the next stitch. You're going to do that 12 times so that you end up with 13 single crochets and 12 chain 1 spaces. Helps if you count. First one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And I'm just going to chain 1 again before I fasten off. You don't have to chain 1. I prefer doing that. Let's check before we move on. So on this motif, your last single crochet should fall in the first stitch of an increase, which it does. That's my increase. And on this one, it should fall in the second stitch of an increase, which it does. That's my increase. That's the second stitch. Excellent. So that's half of it done. So I'm going to go ahead and add all the others. I'm going to change this color out, do it in the orange, and then I'll meet you back here when I've ready to do the center. So here's a little or tip or a note or whatever you want to call it. When you've joined 5 of your petals, it's going to look like there's not enough space for a 6th one, which may freak you out a little bit. Don't worry about it. There is plenty of space for that 6th one, and it'll block out beautifully. It works, trust me. Now that I've joined all 6 petals, I'm going to show you how I work away my ends, because you might find it useful. Okay, so for the ends on the inside where the hole is, I go through the legs of the first single crochet, and then I make my way down the treble in the corner, going through the loops. And then I go through the bottom of those stitches. Just find that this way is neater than trying to work into the single crochet chain 1 join. I do the same thing over here. Just work my way down. And then back again. I do suggest that you work your ends away after you've made each flower, because otherwise you're going to be very miserable if you have to do all of them once you've joined all the flowers. There you go. So she's a bit roughly right now. I'm just going to zoom out so you can see a bit better. She's a bit roughly, and it looks like she's not going to flatten out, but everything will be fine once we start making those hexagons. Well, the diamond shapes and the weird hexagony diamonds. This will all flatten out and be perfectly flat, so don't worry about that. Now I'm going to show you how to fill in the hole in the center there. Isn't it pretty though? And then that will be it for part 4. Once you've made all the flowers, you will fill in the central holes. Please consult the colorway diagrams at the start of parts 1 to 3 to find out which colors to use for which flowers. We're going to join our yarn by making a standing 3DC bobble in the chain 1 corner space of any of the raindrops. So I'm going to yarn over, insert into that chain 1 space, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, insert into the same space, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, insert into the same space, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through all 4 on your hook. So I'm going to make a 3DC bobble in each of the remaining 5 chain 1 spaces. It's alright, you can come in. Erika? Ek is besig met die video. Last one. Okay, so when you've made all 6 of them, you can join to the top of the first one with a slip stitch. I'm going to do invisible join. It feels like the join will be a bit untidy, but don't worry about it because no one's going to see that tiny join in the entirety of the blanket. It's a bit fiddly to get in there. Going to bring that into the back as well, and so this one will be slightly dangly, but I'm going to work both of these away at the same time and that will pull them together. So that is our flower all done. Look at that. So you're going to have to repeat all these instructions 12 times so that each flower is joined and each one has a little pretty colored center. And then in part 5 we are going to start adding the leaves. Some of the motifs will have 1 leaf, some will have 2 leaves, and then in the next part we'll start creating those diamond shapes and weird hexagon-y shapes. Thank you very much for watching. Have a lovely week. Bye.